Hello there, Emma here. So I heard about the Omnicom Emerging Talent Scheme just before Christmas. Spoke to a few people about it, including Athena, who took part in the scheme last year, and found out what an amazing opportunity it could be for me. So here's a short video for my application. So I started in January at C-Space 2016, and I've learnt so much. I've worked with so many amazing people, and it's really given me a greater awareness of my key strengths and areas for development. So here are my key strengths. I think my analytical ability I've really developed and demonstrated throughout the year, particularly in my very first project, in fact, for Barclays, the Understanding the Sandwich Generation project, which involved helping Barclays understand how the emotional trauma of being in the sandwich generation affected those people's ability to make financial decisions. And it was a massive project for me. I ran my first Ethno and culminated in co-delivering a debrief which used behavioural economics and transaction analysis frameworks to show Barclays that in order to really help these people and serve them better, they had to change their communication strategy. They had to speak to these people kind of parent to child as opposed to adult, using cold, rational financial speak. So delivering this was incredibly impactful, and the Barclays team then invited us back to the Brain Food Conference, which is a huge event within Barclays, and enabled us to share our findings within a much greater range of stakeholders, and they were incredibly happy with that. My second key strength is my strategic ability, which I've developed throughout my work with Jaguar this year, specifically through the early buyer studies for XE, XF and FPACE. And our work with Jaguar is around helping them focus their marketing strategy and their product development around customer needs instead of around engineering capabilities. It's incredibly complex work involving lots of project management and multiple pieces of field work and interim and full reports. But we managed it. I ran 32 ethnos across the space of 3 weeks in November in the US, representing C-Space to both the UK and the US client. And most recent feedback from the UK client was particularly positive around the last deck that I co-delivered, and they said it was amazing and fantastically detailed. So that was fantastic. And I think that this work has taught me that to really best serve Jaguar and help them be a real contender in the automobile market, particularly crowded as it is, we have to go further than simply evaluating the positive and negative feedback for their products, and help them instead focus on leveraging their brand history and prestige, whilst also meeting the needs of the modern driver today. And then lastly, my creativity has been a huge development area for me. I have demonstrated this throughout the brand work on the Millennium project we undertook, which involved creating a brand identity for the Lens collection, which is the top elite hotels for the group. It's a really knotty project involving working with several agency partners, many client stakeholders, and initially our role, France and mine, was to deliver some key platforms that the design agency could develop into brand directions. But as our work developed with the consumers, we realised we had key brand direction ideas. So ultimately, France and I created a whole brand direction which we developed into a lovely story around using the unique and distinctive personalities of the hotels in the group and marrying it with the need of the modern hotel guests to collect experiences and stories on their travels. And the client was over the moon and loved working with us, telling us our thinking was unique and inspired. So that was great. And lastly, for creativity, I've also developed a real interest in our video output production, as I've understood that to make our work really land and have great impact within a client's business, we have to make sure it's emotionally engaging, and video is the best conduit for that. The work in which I developed this interest particularly was the Boots A Day in the Life of a Colleague work, in which I designed and delivered a mini documentary video of a day in the life of 12 different Boots in-store colleagues to teach the head office colleagues what it's like to be to work in store, and what are the barriers and challenges to delivering key initiatives such as technological ones that the company wants to introduce. So I've learnt so much so quickly this year, and I just want to keep on learning, and I think the Omnicom Emerging Talent Scheme will really help with that, specifically around some key areas I think I still like to develop. So firstly, I'd like to develop my business strategy understanding, so I have a broader range of knowledge from which I can draw on to better serve our clients. I think the mentoring would really help with this. Secondly, I think the scheme will just help me widen my industry experience, so I gain a greater understanding of what's out there, what our industry offers. And thirdly, it would help me supercharge my development. I'm very ambitious, I'm hungry to learn, and I want to keep on progressing through the projects team. I want to develop to a consultant level and keep gaining in confidence. And then ultimately this will help me to better serve the projects team and then C-Space by extension. Okay, so that's why it would be good for me, but why would it be good for C-Space? Well, there are a few reasons. Firstly, the greater experience I would have of working with different agency partners would prepare me for leading a multi-agency project in the future, as opposed to just supporting on it like I did with Millennium, and creating a more 360-degree offering for a client by working with different agencies, cross-fertilising ideas. It would be, fantastic for me and projects. Secondly, it would, by developing my interest in video output, becoming more of an expert in the best ways to storyboard and tell a really engaging emotional story through video, would hopefully bridge the gap between projects and the video team, creating more landable impact within our client's business. And lastly, my development. As the first long-term associate consultant in the projects team, by my taking part in the scheme, learning from the wider Omnicom network and progressing to consultant level, could be a fantastic example for the development of future associate consultants. We're in a slightly transitionary point right now in the projects team, people coming and going, and by strengthening our internal talent pipeline, by ensuring that future entry-level roles come in and have the opportunity to learn and develop from schemes like this, I feel that we will become a more attractive employer, a destination for those wanting to develop and learn and continue their careers. So that's it. I love it here, I love the team, I love the people. I just want to keep learning and keep progressing and keep contributing, and I think the scheme will help me do that. So thank you very much.